Hello and welcome to the second presentation of my machine mapping. It now got over 3000 comments, so very complex. I spent several days on this, so I got it in media mode. You can achieve this with Shift and Control. You will see here 3 yellow buttons. Those are the track decks and Traktor, and 1 white button. This is a live input. Currently I'm on the first page of the display, so it says remix decks. Those are the controls for the remix decks. You can activate the FX or the filter for a slot and adjust the volume or the filter. And on the second page there's a general deck overview. You can adjust the volume fader, the EQs, kill the EQs, or if you push select and record, you can record your mix, activate and deactivate, key lock, set as master sync, and activate the filter or adjust the filter, see the beat phase, or if you turn the knob you get a phase sync. The position marker, it is adjustable with select and the rotary knob, so you can search through the track, and with select and key you can adjust the key. Those are locked with the select button because it's not good if you turn it accidentally and the track jumps in your mixing or changes the key. So I now select deck A. You see those buttons light up. The first green is the play button. This is Q, cup, and the first position, so the start position of a track. Here the flux mode and pitch bend down or up, so you can adjust and sync it manually without a jog wheel, because the machine obviously has no jog wheel. So we can search through our library with a rotary encoder, or we select navigate to navigate through folders, or we can press select and jump through pages on the normal track view, or we choose navigate and select to jump between the favorites. Mainstream folder. So choose this and load it in the deck with just pushing the rotary encoder. So pad 13 lights up. This is the grid marker, the first cue point, and I can set, I want here a cue point. It lights up in blue as in the software, and with select pushed I can choose the type. So this is a fade in marker or fade out, or load marker, so the track loads to this point, a grid marker, or a loop if you set it. So if I play now this, it plays a loop, and you see the cue button lights up because this is a cue point and the track is now playing. You can delete the cue point with mute and the pad. You can set loops manually with no repeat, and those are the different sizes. So here the pad lights up brighter than the others, so this is the active 4-beat loop to the 32-beat loop, this is loop active, so if I push it, the loop gets inactive. Loop in and loop out. So we can set loops manually with this one. And yeah, that's almost everything for the track decks. You can unload the track with mute and pressing the deck button. So I got a track loaded in A, so I press mute and A, so the track is unloaded again. So now I go to my remix deck library and choose navigate and scroll through the folders. So I got the remix sets, and I choose jungle barrier. So we got no remix deck here because all are yellow. So I choose now deck A has to be a remix deck, so it's now green with select and pushing the button. You see now those are light green buttons, so those are the pages you can scroll through. Load now the remix deck, the remix set. In version 2.6.3 you got no other options to output the colors, so I set all to red, and you can scroll here through the pages, and I load now the staccato kick. It plays so it's green. You see the pads light up also in blue. This is if they are waiting for sync, and the quantization is actually on 4 beats. So you can play with the remix decks. If you want to stop a sample, press mute and push the pad below, so you know stopped slot 1 from deck A. This was in mute, I don't know why. So up here you got the mute buttons, and here you got the solo buttons. I can go here. Found a bug. Yay. So you can manually add the solo buttons or the monitoring and mute all, or stop the samples. So if you want to unload the sample, just press a button which is yellow. So this is unloaded. Now it's blue, but it should be red. Now I go to some samples, choose this bass, which doesn't fit in this set, but just to demonstrate it. So I load it now, pushing this button and it's loaded in slot 4. Not this one, but this one. So if you press select, you can see down here the purple pads. Those are for the trigger types. If it's bright, the trigger type is play the sample as long as I play another sample, and if it's dark, you just play the sample as long as you push the pads. So if I now push the selected sample, will just play as long as I push it and stop with the next quantization beat. Again, pushing select. Up here you get the type of the sample, if it's a sample or a loop. Green is for loop and yellow for a single shot sample. And here you got the punch mode. So I can set the punch mode on, and the sample will start at the same position as you left the old sample. I now go to page 1 again and play those samples. Adjust the volume of slot 1. Set filter on. And stop them with mute. So you got the remix decks. You can also choose the loops. The flex mode can be activated just in software for remix decks, or you set it to track deck first and then activate flex mode and go back to remix deck. Keep in mind that the remix decks play along also if you stop the samples, so you have to stop them by unloading the remix deck. Back to a track deck, I choose deck B and choose now again mainstream. And so if you notice that the grid doesn't fit, you can select grid and turn the rotary encoder to adjust the grid and lock the grid with pushing it, and the enter button lights up. All actions you can access by pushing the rotary encoder can also access by pressing enter. If you want to adjust the tempo, you select tempo and turn the rotary encoder. At 10% pitch range you get 0.1 precision of the pitch. If you want a smaller amount, you can adjust it on the mapping. If you set a tempo and want to reset it to 0, you just push the encoder and get it back to 0%. Down here we got the loop recorder. This is obviously the record button to record a sample from the mix, and up here you got the arrow keys to choose the length of a sample, push erase to delete the sample, and select the size. So we want a 4-beat loop. We play this and adjust the volume of the deck and record it. And adjust the dry wet of the loop recorder with volume and turning the rotary encoder. So we can now stop the deck and get the loop recorder playing the sample. Stop it again with the play button. Undo redo is on restart. And yeah, that's almost for the track decks and the remix decks. And yeah, you can toggle between the full screen browse mode with browser and set on quantization and snap with those buttons. You got here the snap and here the quantize. If you want to save a remix deck, you can push all save and you get prompted a dialog, and I'll cancel it. I don't want to save an empty set. We can go to the FX parameters. So you got FX unit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 if activated. And I can add the units to the decks with select and the orange buttons. So now FX unit 1 is chosen for deck A, and I can also choose FX unit 2 for deck A. I can adjust the parameters normally by turning the encoders with the values. You can activate the FX with the buttons or select an advanced effect with select and on. So now I got the reverb activated with on, reset it and select the parameters. Going back to group mode, I can select the FX. So with select and the FX in advanced mode, it's just button 1 because it's just one effect. So I press select and button 1 to change the FX. You can activate monitoring for deck with pushing solo and deck. You want to monitor. That's almost everything I got on this mapping. If I did not forget anything, I got the favorites page with favorites 1 to 8. You can easily access. Set the master volume, monitor mix and the aux volume. And yeah, that was my mapping. Thanks for watching. You can get this machine mapping for a donation on my page. In the description is a link to it, so just donate and get this machine mapping if you're interested. If you found a bug or want to request a new feature, you can add it in the bug reporter on the page, just for those who already got the mapping.